The EU is still treating the UK as a vassal state more than 4 years after the 2016 referendum, a Eurosceptic Finnish MEP has said in a scathing attack on the European Union. And Laura Huhtasaari also took aim at arch-Europhile Guy Verhofstadt after he demanded that Britain follows its commitments during yesterday's plenary session in the European Parliament. Ms. Huhtasaari was speaking after she voiced support for UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson during the same session, and said she hoped Britain's stance would prompt other countries, including her own, to quit the bloc. She told Express, "In my view, the EU still wants to consider the UK as its vassal, subjugated to its political, economic and legal system. We should build up the future relations between European nations on the pillars of political sovereignty and economic freedom. This is compatible with the stance of the UK in the negotiations, which emphasizes independence of European nation-states and free trade between them." Ms. Huhtasaari is a member of Finland's right-wing Finns party, and holds a number of controversial views, including a belief in creationism. She said, "In the end, we should recognize the cultural, linguistic, political and economic diversity of Europe, which derives from history and geography, and oppose all intentions to unify the continent under a political regime. The EU does not recognize the political sovereignty of the UK or the value of free trade in relations between independent nation-states, even though it pretends to be the global champion of free trade, preaching about the virtues of free trade to states situated on the other side of the globe. We should not impose the requirements of level playing field restricting the legislative powers of the UK, automatic access rights to fish, or jurisdiction of the Court of Justice of the European Union on our relations, because that would mean that we do not consider the UK as a sovereign actor within the international system." Speaking yesterday, Mr. Verhofstadt called on the EU's 27 member states to reject any agreement with Britain if Downing Street refused to amend its controversial internal market bill. However, Ms. Huhtasaari added, "I think that the reaction from the part of Mr. Verhofstadt is shock at comments which correctly point out a lack of common direction inside the European Union."